From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Brought to you by SSPTV and the Standard Speaker.
2 drug sweeps in 2 days in Schuylkill County. Today is centered in one community done by local police. The McAdoo Drug Roundup, our top story on News 13 for this Thursday. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Bazinski. On the heels of a drug dealer roundup yesterday, another round of arrests today in McAdoo. Police in McAdoo were calling the drug sting Operation Clean Street. Police took to the streets this morning, rounding up a number of residents who'd been selling drugs in their community. 15 drug warrants were served today for people dealing marijuana, crack, cocaine, heroin, and prescription drugs. By 3 this afternoon, most of those warrants had been served. McAdoo police say this year-long investigation is meant to help keep the streets clean for drugs.
Today we did actually a drug sting operation called Operation Clean Street. We had 15 drug warrants that we served today on people who are dealing marijuana, crack, cocaine, heroin, and prescription drugs. We did pick up the majority of them already, and this actually goes along with our zero tolerance policy. We have been actively getting people for just the small things, and it just gets to be bigger. And that's just basically to keep the crime statistics down in this borough.
The suspects that are in custody will be arraigned in front of Magistrate Beyer in Tamaqua. McAdoo police say there will be more drug arrests in the near future. And the Schuylkill County DA says that 10 street-level drug dealers were collared during a drug sweep yesterday. Schuylkill County District Attorney Karen Burns-Noon says detectives from the Schuylkill County DA's office and the Schuylkill County Drug Task Force and officers from police departments all across the county picked up the 10 alleged dealers. Charged with counts connected to methamphetamine were Alexis Fritz and Dave Hoffman of Pottsville, Cody Gummer of St. Clair, Brett Klein of Shenandoah. Christopher Miller of Port Carbon was charged with delivery of heroin. Brian O'Connell of Shenandoah, Ricky Smith of Auburn, and Keith Garnell, all charged with delivery of marijuana. Brian Mayberry of Schuylkill Haven, Greg Mazur of Pottsville were charged with trafficking and other drugs and substances. All of them are in the Schuylkill County Prison. Well, it's a 21st century story that keeps resurfacing. You post something silly on social media, somebody thinks it's about them, and a catfight ensues. Only this time, a Pottsville councilman and a mayoral candidate are the ones at odds, and to explain it all with me now in the studio is Matthew Petrillo. Matthew?
Kathy, this is definitely a tit-for-tat story. It all came to head last week when the recent mayoral candidate won Pottsville's Republican primary. Now, he faces a long, hard road to that seat, including confronting those who are hoping to bring him some stiff competition. Last week, Thomas' house was struck by lightning.
Fortunately, the damage isn't as bad as it could have been. We have siding that fell off, but besides that, we're pretty safe, but it was a dead-on hit.
Thomas says the fire chief responded promptly and crews did an excellent job handling the situation. But he's still calling for the resignation of one individual for showing off his internet muscles.
The director of public safety, Mark Atkinson, decided to go onto Facebook and launch an attack on me.
The attack consisted of a single Facebook post that read, "I have no power right now. This night could not have gotten any better. Some days thunderstorms are a man's best friend. Karma's a blank." Atkinson, who was a Democratic councilman, posted that about an hour after the lightning strike. And the lightning strike happened just 2 days after Thomas won the Republican nod for Pottsville Mayor in the general election.
What kind of person, whether they're an elected official or not, what kind of human being says that about any other human being? We might have our political differences, but I would never wish harm on another human being like that.
Thomas then sent a letter to the current mayor calling for Atkinson's resignation. So News 13 caught up with the councilman to ask if he plans on leaving public office.
None whatsoever. Mr. Thomas has called me a public safety hazard. The reality is that I've been saving lives longer than he has been on this earth.
Atkinson says the post was not about Thomas or his family, but about his own family.
This was a loving jab at my wife regarding our personal relationship and events that were occurring in my home that night. And it just so happened to be that the power went out as those events were unfolding.
Regardless of who you believe, Kathy, the naked truth of this has 2 dimensions. Assuming does make butts out of people, and if you're not going to bear it all when posting social media, then folks should maybe try keeping it G-rated so we don't have to report on a second coming of social media gone wrong. Kathy?
Bottom line is, watch what you post to social media. That's it. Thanks a lot, Matthew. Well, Hazleton's new earned income tax rates become effective on July 1st. The earned income tax for residents will slide to 1.35% and 1.85% for non-residents. A portion of the non-resident rate will fund municipal pension and retirement benefits. Hazleton Area School District will continue to collect a 1% earned income tax that will now be separate from the city. The resident rate allocates 1% of the tax for general municipal purposes, remaining 3.5% for pension and retirement. The non-resident rate includes 1% for general municipal purposes and 0.85% for pensions. Well, it's a touching tribute to an artist who was a big part of the Schuylkill County community but has gone too soon. As Stephanie Gorney tells us, that's why Pottsville made yesterday Dave's Day.
For many, May 29th is just a normal day like any other day of the year. But for one local town, it has become so much more than that.
John D.W. Riley, Mayor of the City of Pottsville, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim May 29th, the date of Dave's birth, as Dave Nadock Day in the City of Pottsville to celebrate Dave's art and love of Pottsville.
Dave Nadock was a popular artist in the Pottsville area, as well as all across the region, and passed away unexpectedly back in January. Mike, Dave's twin, is amazed by this special day that was created to honor his brother and all the work that he has done.
Wonderful, because he had such a following down in Schuylkill County. So many people with murals, private paintings, private commissions, murals in homes and bathrooms, and of course public murals that you see a lot.
Wasil is an artist who moved to Shamokin from California just a short time ago and had the opportunity of meeting Dave, who ended up inspiring him in many ways.
So we met once, we met twice, and he asked me to do a one-person exhibit here at the Greystone. So we just took my work down. I had 17 pieces here, and Dave and I hung it, and it's family. It's a family, is what it is. It was actually mystical.
Dave was able to connect with Wasil on many different levels through their art and see aspects of the artwork that many didn't notice.
Dave and I were hanging the exhibit. He was able to see behind my work. He was able to see subtext that people don't really know. And I'm like, Dave, oh my God, that's like a spring, of everlasting light.
Pottsville hopes to create Dave's Day into a larger celebration as the years go on and incorporate many different forms of art. Stephanie Gorney, News 13, Pottsville.
You may have known him as a teacher, a principal, or most recently as the assistant to the Hazleton area superintendent. Mr. Basic is just days away from retiring. Christina Papa spent most of the day with him today and talked to him about what he's done for the district and what he plans to do next.
It's 10 to 8 and students are just walking into Hazleton Area High School ready for another day at school. But assistant to the superintendent, Donald Basic, has been in his office since around 7. The former principal is used to long days, but he's finally ready to start winding down.
You won't have any doubt in your mind. You're not going to have regrets. You'll know. If you have regrets, then don't go because you're not ready yet. And over the last couple of months, it's time.
Mr. Basic will be retiring at the end of the school year after working in the Hazleton Area School District for 36 years.
Actually, I think about it as being blessed because I've been able to work with many outstanding teachers, many outstanding administrators.
Mr. Basic grew up in West Hazleton. His sister, Mary Beth Casano, also works in the school district. She says her brother always had a knack for taking care of kids.
We do come from a very large family, so we always have been used to having younger siblings and took care of them.
After graduating from Bloomsburg with his teaching degree early, he decided to come back to the area, and that's where he's been ever since.
You know, I feel very fortunate that I was able to spend my entire career at home, somewhere.
Mr. Basic started off subbing and quickly began teaching elementary school full-time. During his years in the district, he's worked in several schools as a teacher, vice principal, and most recently, he's moved into an administration position.
After years of teaching, Mr. Basic traded in his classroom for an office space, but he says his fondest memories are during those years he spent teaching right here in the Hazleton Area School District.
Faculty members say they've learned so much from Mr. Basic, and they're sad to see him leave.
I really wish would have had the opportunity to work with him for a much longer period of time, because I really did learn a lot from him.
He is truly remarkable and will be deeply missed.
Mr. Basic plans to keep helping out with teachers and students in the community. For now, he says he hopes to spend more time with his wife and relax. Christina Papa, News 13, Greater Hazleton.
Terrific guy. Everybody's going to miss him, and we know he's going to enjoy his retirement. Well, time now for our regional weather from the National Weather Service. Checking the radar, just ground clutter mostly around the radar, but with the warm weather, a storm could crop up unexpectedly here and there. But in the meantime, it's pretty much our turn to bake. Our creative condition, nothing but sunshine and flowers. It's by Juliana Hantig, a student at Valley Elementary, and I love her purple house and the really big flowers. Now let's take a look at News 13 weather from the National Weather Service for Greater Hazleton. For tonight, mostly clear with a low of only 65 degrees. And for Friday, sunny with light winds and a high up to 87. Nighttime low only down to 65. And heading to Schuylkill County for tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 62 degrees. And for Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 88 degrees, low overnight down to around 63. And let's check the winning midday lottery numbers. Good luck if you play. The daily 179, Big 4 6625, Quinto 57146, and the treasure hunt 5 8 12 15 20. Hope you won.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. First tonight, the Greater Hazleton Health Alliance and Boyers Food Markets are pleased to announce upcoming free health screenings scheduled for Boyers locations during the month of June. Blood sugar screening will be held June 18th at McAdoo, grip strength body mass screening in Tamaqua June 20th, and a pulse oxygen screening June 25th in Hazleton. For more information, please call 570-501-6204. And finally tonight, the Nescapec State Park will be holding a program Saturday, June 8th called Kayaking Level 1. 3 different sessions will be held for beginning kayakers. You must register in advance for this free program. Call 570-403-2006 for more information. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Mary McKay Miller of Franklin Square, New York. All services will be private. Catherine Villanelli, formerly of Hazleton. Services Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Most Precious Blood Cemetery Chapel. The Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Grindle Watkins of Whitehaven. Services were held today at the Whitehaven Center. John Petrovich of Hazleton. Mass is Friday at 10 a.m. at the Holy Rosary Church. Friends McCall Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. Arrangements are under the direction of the Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home. Shirley Hart of Ringtown. Services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the St. John's Lutheran Church. Friends may call Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Stauffer Bresnik Funeral Home, and Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. at the church. And Anna Mae Madash of Middlesex, New Jersey. Service will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Middlesex Funeral Home. Friends may call from 9 to 11 a.m. Tonight's obituaries have been brought to you by the Smilax Floral Shop located on 15th Street in Hazleton. For delivery to all local funeral homes, call 570-454-0111. And by Mia's, once again, the Hazleton area's #1 rated restaurant. Call 570-501-3410 for information on luncheon packages.
SSPTV Sports on News 13.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Mike Madry filling in for Fred Barletta. Well, the Lady Cougar softball team has surely had a memorable season. Not to mention only one loss during their campaign. They haven't shied away from drama the whole season, especially in this do-or-die situation they've been in. Wednesday night was the same story up against Williamsport. One thing's for sure, the Lady Cougar softball team sure loves drama.
Bottom 6 we go. Becky Demko on the mound, no score when Alexis Bauer ropes a single down the third base line. The Lady Cougars would find themselves in trouble, but the trouble would shift towards Williamsport's way. Demko, wild pitch. Megan Horn takes off to score, but Demko applies the tag and Hazleton escapes the jam. Coach Bauer, not a happy camper. Score remains at 0. But that was only one out, and the runner from second would move on the wild pitch. So next batter, Sam Fisher, she would pop out, and then Demko on a 2-2 count gets Kayla Moore to strike out. Top 7 we go. Bauer on the hill facing Michaela Brody, and Brody rips a single past Michaela Brower. She would advance to second on a sac bunt. So key situation in the inning, 1 out, and Brower flings it past her catcher. Brody moves to third. Keep in mind, Becky Demko was at bat. Would she keep the Cougar season alive? The answer, yes! She drills one to right field long enough to plate Brody, and the Cougars take a 1-0 lead. We head to the bottom 7th. Last chance for the Millionaires to make a comeback, and with 2 outs, Demko would get Tiana McCormick to line out. The Cougars are moving on, folks. Here's the MVP of the game talking to News 13 afterward.
Just thinking to make contact with the ball. I know Brody's on third and she's a fast runner, so I just wanted to make contact and that's it.
District 11 softball, Catasauqua, the #1 seed, moves on and eliminates North Schuylkill. The Spartans finish the season with a 12-10 record as they get bounced. As for Catasauqua, they move on and face Penn Agrill, who just came off an exciting 2-1 victory against Pine Grove. Well, from the diamond to the track, News 13 was at the Pocono Raceway, where we got an exclusive sneak peek at some established drivers firing up their engines. Take a look. It was a bright, sunny day, the perfect day for 7 NASCAR Sprint Series drivers to test out the racetrack in the Poconos. With the names of Danica Patrick and Tony Stewart on hand, they fired up their engines in hopes of getting a feel for the track.
For us, we're just trying to, figure out what works here. And I think that's something that's nice and rewarding as a team and as the drivers, is that you know that the work you're doing here today helps for the next time you're here.
Drivers were in gear today in hopes of gaining an advantage. Partying the Pocono 400 is slated to begin June 9th, so drivers are doing the research and testing necessary in preparation for the race.
Well, I think it's for us to be able to be here this week and then come back next week. That's a unique situation. Typically, things don't work out that well, but they worked out in this situation. And I think for the drivers, the team, everybody, you should roll off the truck with a much better understanding of what the track is and where all the bump stops need to be set, what setups we're looking for. I definitely think that without a doubt, we should be better by doing this than we will be if we didn't do it.
The winner of the Party in the Pocono 400s will have various obstacles to overcome. Besides the fact that this racetrack is designed like a triangle, they recently just got done adding new additions that will make this track even more challenging for the drivers. Curbing was ripped apart and replaced, and all pavement was resurfaced. These were just some of the upgrades done at the Pocono Raceway. But for drivers like Paul Newman, the real challenge is still in the unique track layout itself.
It's got 3 distinct corners, 3 distinct bankings, 3 distinct angles, I guess, to complete the 360 degrees. And it's just unique, and it's a lot of fun as a driver, especially when your car's right. But you have the ability to kind of manipulate the corners here, and, not a lot, but a little bit, just in order to make it racier and give yourself the opportunity to pass, which is very difficult to do.
Mike Madry, News 13 Sports, Long Pond. The story is well known by now. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins are on a remarkable run, but would their Calder Cup chances take a hit? Early in the second period, Syracuse's Vladislav Namniskov skating in rips a slap shot past Brad Theismann. That goal would be all the Syracuse Crunch would need. They win 2-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. With the Penguins' loss, they'll get a chance to even up the series tomorrow at home. Puck drops 7:05 sharp. I'm Mike Madry, and that's all we've got for News 13 Sports.
News 13 Sports is sponsored by Sand Springs, featuring a world-class golf course as well as celebrations, the area's most luxurious banquet and wedding facility.
Welcome to this week's Family Time. Today I'm joined by some recent graduates. These guys just graduated from pre-K. Maria, can you explain what did you do today?
We sang 3 songs and we got diplomas.
And what else? How many kids were up there on stage with you today?
Lots.
Lots of kids, yeah. And so next year, the whole class was up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. So next year, some of you guys are going to be going to kindergarten, right? Will you be going here to Holy Family next year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool. So what was your favorite part about graduating today?
All 13 kids were there.
All 13 kids?
Yeah.
And so what was your favorite part? Did you like singing or?
Yes.
Yeah? What songs did you sing?
It is good.
It is good? Do you remember any of the lyrics? Do you think you could sing a little of it for me? No, not right now? No? All right. And what about for you? What do you remember about today?
Me, the class sang to Jesus and our family.
Oh, very cool. So did you have fun today? What was your favorite part?
Singing.
Singing. All right. And you got what did you get today? You got a little diploma?
Yeah.
Yeah, a diploma. And so next year, what will you be doing? You won't be going to pre-K, but you'll be
in kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Awesome. Well, congratulations, guys. You guys all look so handsome and beautiful today. I hope you have an awesome day. That's this week's Family Time. We'll see you next week.
Plenty more news and information headed your way on News 13. It struck like lightning and unleashed a Facebook frenzy involving some elected officials. We'll unravel that story and much more news when the 13 crew comes right back.